matches in a row due to the double elimination format of the tournament. And I am joined in the commentator's booth with one of my usual partners in crime, Frico. How are you doing tonight, sir?
Oh, absolutely fantastic. To expand on what you said before, the reason why BuzzThunder has to win twice is we had this match not too long ago in the winners' final. Up until that point, both racers were undefeated, trailz taking the victory, knocking BuzzThunder down into the losers bracket, and I believe he defeated Rose City Saint in that match to earn his way back to the grand final.
Quite right, you are. We saw that last night on this very channel at the exact same time as this race right here. And we are underway, as you can see, and it looks like this is a zero gemmer. So no need to complete any palaces. Just get to the Great Palace and finish up as quickly as you can. This is sounding a little familiar to the race that we saw between these two in the winners, I believe it was semifinal just last week.
It was actually the winners' final, uh, but I believe they had less blocks of life to start with. At least they have five to start with this time. So, maybe less of a priority on actually taking life levels early on. trailz finding the downstab. So, looks like we did not start with downstab. I've not seen an upstab yet either.
No, and on Trail's side, we also got a hint that the Boots lies within a maze. So Boots somewhere on Maze Island on this seed, should it become necessary. Buzz Thunder inside Lifetown is going to pick up a spell. We started out with Shield from Shield Town, and Fairy looks like it was in the final slot, therefore being Thundertown. No other spells did we start with.
All right, so our little checklist of things to do is most likely we're going to need the glove to get through Great Palace.
Not necessarily, but chances are quite good, yes.
We have to find the Great Palace.
We've got a life spell for Buzz Thunder in Lifetown. And
Oh,
we've got a
interesting.
medicine cave for trailZ. Some item lurking at the back here. We'll see what that is momentarily. Quick 200 point
Uh,
bag drop for trailZ. Gonna pump that into a magic level. And
trails.
we've got, looks like vanilla magic container cave for Buzz. So both players going to pick up an item momentarily.
trails. I guess started with the hammer. He is in a hammer blocked cave right now.
And it's going to be a magic container for trailz and the child for Buzz. Both players now at an even level of 2, 2, and 2.
Well, let's see what ends up coming of the child. The magic container definitely useful if we do run into a Thunderbird. Casting Thunder is definitely going to be a necessity.
Quite right, you are, Frico. We've got Stonehenge for Buzz, and there's a heart container.
Wow, I wasn't even sure those existed in the randomizer anymore. With the way I've been seeing seeds as of late, just not having them at all.
On the max rando settings, they're actually quite rare because you can start with anywhere from 1 to 8 magic containers, or heart containers, my mistake. And even if you start with fewer heart containers than normal, it's entirely possible that that could be the maximum amount that the seed allows.
And to expand on that, if that does happen, any missing items from the item pool, which would be heart containers in this instance, would be replaced by 500 point P bags. So we tend to see a lot more 500 point P bags as a result of this.
Quite right, you are. Definitely helpful for getting a lot of early levels. And we're seeing both players do something the other one has. Buzz going through Medicine Cave, and trail's heading to Life Town and is going to pick up that life spell.
Yeah, so Buzz Thunder's gonna find a magic jar. So it looks like both of our runners, aside from, well, for the time being, Trails having an extra life level, which I believe Buzz Thunder may end up picking up right here. Oh, not opting for Magic 3, gonna take that life level, collect the magic jar, and up and A out. Not sure if I like that too much. Uh, I may prioritize Magic 3 slightly more than Life 3, given the situation, but I can't exactly say they're wrong because this is the finals after all. They've been doing something right for a great part of this tournament so far.
Absolutely, Frico. And, well, with how inexpensive the first few levels of life are, it's never a bad idea to pick one of those up early on. Gives you a little bit more defense. More heart containers, always great, mind you, but defense just extends that health bar even more every time you level up your life. And looks like Buzz Thunder's about to pick up his down stab. trailZ finding Stonehenge and is going to pick up that heart container. So slightly different paths from both racers, but we're basically in a dead even heat right now. Maybe a slight advantage to trailZ, who has already gotten attack level 3.
Yeah, that's really the only difference right now. I would expect a lot more exploring going on from the runners, specifically to go looking for palaces, with
Oh
the
yeah, I
Great
never
Palace
cast any
being the only
trails.
objective that really matters. If we can
East.
eliminate potentially the raft from, any need for it, we find the Great Palace on the Western continent. You never know.
I guess we'll have to see on that, but even if Great Palace is on the Western continent, there's always a possibility that that glove is going to be required and could still be on the east somewhere. So, still quite a lot of information that we don't have. One thing we do know is that Palace 2 is right over here on the western side. We just saw that on Trail Z sign as Buzz Thunder picks up the raft inside of Trophy Cave.
Well, now we at least know Buzz Thunder can make his way over to the Eastern continent if needed, putting some downstab action to use there, finishing off one of the enemies. Trails into Death Mountain. So I'd be interested to see what he ends up finding as a result of this play. Potentially Spectacle Rock, as well as the Hammer Cave, both possibilities, as Trails did start with the hammer, same as Buzz Thunder.
Absolutely, and I'm sure that that is influencing Trail's decision to have a look inside Death Mountain right now. Trails has gone on record saying that he doesn't particularly like to waste too much time in here, but when you start with the hammer, there is a quote unquote free item just lying there for the taking. But Trail Z quickly did find Hammer Cave here inside Death Mountain, so nothing wrong with that, as Buzz has just discovered Palace too.
And so it looks like Buzz Thunder may end up in and around that Death Mountain area as well. So we'll see if he goes in or opts out. This may be a potential tipping point in the race between our runners. And it looks like Buzz Thunder at least going to commit into exploring Death Mountain, same as Trails.
Gonna at least have a little look in here, and since they're on the same patch of land, shouldn't take Buzz too long to discover Hammer Cave.
Nope, found it. Doesn't seem to be interested though, or still potentially looking for something else. But
Maybe just having a peek on what's available to see if Spectacle Rock is there. And inside Hammer Cave, we have a magic container on trails inside.
all right, so that's 6 blocks of magic. We're getting close to being able to cast a triple digit spell, or potentially a different spell repeatedly if the need arises.
Always the chance that fire is linked to something incredibly useful. Buzz having a little bit of difficult with that red Dyra, but eventually does take it down for an attack level, making his way through Hammer Cave and very soon going to pick up that magic container that we just saw trailZ pick up. trailZ, meanwhile, inside Trophy Cave, is now going to pick up the raft that we saw Buzz get just moments ago. As we said earlier, different paths for both of these runners, but overall, the end result, they're pretty much dead even right now, except for a slight edge in experience for trailZ.
I think BuzzThunder might be able to make that up traveling through the cave here. Uh, we'll see, of course, but when you have two runners this close, especially in a finals match, it really shows that they deserve to be here. It's not like, oh, well, somebody got lucky and they're just being outclassed at this point by another runner, as it looks like trailZ actually heading into Palace 2 at this point. So
Yeah, a
potentially,
bit of a bold decision here, but Glove's still at large. If trailZ finds Glove in Palace 2, that could be a very huge boon.
wow. Uh, Picking up a key while having the any key, I guess a little bit of muscle memory on the side of trailZ, but it looks like finding a room that wasn't going to lead to anything useful, up and Aing out.
As
trailZ
far as the key
considering,
grab goes, trailZ picked that up with a down stab, so it's no loss in momentum, no loss in time.
yeah, very true. Oh, now this is interesting. It looked like that dripper gave 300 points, so I don't
It
know if
certainly did, but I doubt two runners this experienced are particularly concerned about their levels, at least for now. Maybe if we find Great Palace early and we do discover that Thunderbird is required, we'll see a more concerted effort to gain some real levels here. Outside of due diligence, as we just saw on Buzz's side, you see a P bag, you're still near the start of the game, you pick it up. 200 pointer and then 150 from that red Dyra gets him level 4.
and we're already 350 points away from another level. So, trail's just picking up experience left and right here.
And trailZ finds a glove block inside of Palace 2.
All right, so that uh, particular path not exactly the greatest. Buzz Thunder still having a go at it, picking up some experience. Looks like uh, fighting in a graveyard tile.
Yeah, that would be that's the cave that you normally need to fall into on the graveyard tile and use fairy to get out of, but Buzz went through the cave the other way. We've got a dead end room in Palace 2 on trailZ' side, looks like, but gonna plow through. Maybe there's a P bag at the end, thinking maybe I can get a level out of this, and looks like it's going to pay off. So we've
Oh
got
wow!
344 for trailZ, and as predicted, an immediate up A. trailZ still wants to see what item is inside Palace 2.
Well, it seems to be the only thing that he has decided he's able to access and just giving it a go. I think I may be more along the line of Buzz Thunder's thinking, potentially going over to the East Coast at this point. You have the raft. Why not? It looks like with only one palace available. Oh, it looks like Buzz Thunder getting some information on Karok and what he holds, but I did not see it quick enough.
Well, K-Rock has the trophy, and we also know the boots are on Maze Island. So potentially some very necessary pickups on Maze Island once our runners are able to make it over that way.
Well, we don't know. Palace 4 is normally in Maze Island, but not potentially today. in this race.
That is quite true, Frico. I believe I spoke a little prematurely there. trailZ just picked up a P bag inside the item spot in Palace 2, and looks like he's going to press on a little further. Maybe just looking for some experience to gain that level before abandoning ship here. Nope, still pressing on through
Wow.
Palace 2 is trailZ.
I'm almost surprised he's not just going for the drippers at this point. Not sure why he's beating up on Helmet Head here. He won't be able.
Maybe trailZ doesn't realize that this is a 0 gem seed? Perhaps we looked at the pause menu incorrectly, but it certainly looked like a 0 gemmer. We've got Great Palace over on Buzz's side. He's just going to walk right in there.
Yeah,
I think trailZ forgot
just
that this was a
realized.
0 gem seed because he walked right up to that statue. Nothing happened, and then he paused and he's like, "Oh, whoopsie doodle."
Yeah,
Well,
ruh-roh.
we've got Buzz inside Great Palace now. No glove and no thunder spell, but this could pan out. We'll just kind of have to see how it goes.
Wow, this could be an interesting play. BuzzThunder kind of looking around, trying to consider his options. Seeing an angry chicken there, not too thrilled about that.
Yeah, that Foka in a very unfriendly position right outside the elevator. Buzz, patient and careful, allows it to jump over him so he can press on in this direction. We've still seen two other ways to go in Great Palace here, so looks like
Well, Buzz has found, I believe, a paperclip room, and it looks like trail's actually heading to the East Coast. So, New Kasuto right there, trails with 6 magic containers, learning about Barba slithering with an item. Yet again, not able to see what exactly it was, but the old lady giving trail's the cross. So it looks like trail's is going to continue in New Kasuto, pick up a spell, and if it is the spell, we may see the spell tower at the far side of the town. Buzz Thunder already into Great Palace, so we'll see if there's any kind of block which will let us know that there are required items or potentially required spells in the way of a Thunderbird showing up.
so far lots of room to maneuver in Great Palace before running into a glove block as trailZ picks up Reflect in Spelltown. Reflect obviously not necessary in this seed, and well, its use is at best questionable. Might help with a couple of tough combats that you could run into here and there, but certainly not the spell trailZ was hoping to see, I dare say.
Oh, and it looks like we're having a River Devil actually road blocking the east in some way. No ability to go up to the north, at least directly. So we'll see if trailZ is able to get around that.
And Buzz has found the other side of the Sevens room. Need a glove if you're going to take that drop. So that, at least for now, is a dead end. There were still, I believe, 3 other paths that you could take in the Great Palace, and Buzz is going to do his due diligence and have a little look here, maybe hoping to eke out a very quick win here. And one of those
That
paths
one's not
is
gonna
null
work.
and void already because the elevator leads straight into a waffle room. So that is not going to do it right now with our lack of glove.
Yeah, waffle rooms are about the last thing Buzz Thunder wants to see at this point. And heading to the left is not in Buzz Thunder's best interests, and it looks like he may be Dunzo here.
Yep, seeing 2 glove blocks. I think that's enough for Buzz for now. He, at least if he's able to remember where he's been in Great Palace, has at least a little bit of information when he gets back there. But we are going to need to find that glove. Um, we've got another potential location for an item here on Buzz's side. This cave, I believe, just has a points bag in it in vanilla, but in Randomizer, it can have, well, just about anything. And in this case, it is a points bag, a
Oh,
mere 50. Item cave
yeah.
with trailZ over on the eastern side now. Let's see what's at the back of this one.
Well, BuzzThunder kind of hitting a bit of a whammy there. They removed a zero from that, what normally would be a 500 point P bag. Let's see what trailZ finds here. It looks like he's nearing the end of the cave, so looks like the medicine for
It is
trailZ.
indeed the medicine for trails. Not necessarily a dead pickup. We still have no idea if Thunderbird's required or not, and that could lead to the Thunder Spell.
Very true. Uh, BuzzThunder at least now knows that he needs an item to get into Great Palace, or proceed further into Great Palace, I should say, to be more accurate. N-
Exactly.
Now it's a issue of BuzzThunder trying to find specifically the glove. And he poked his head into a palace, thought about it for a second, and then went, no.
Well, the reason for that is that it was either 3 or 6 based on the way the totems looked at the start, and both of those, on top of having potential glove blocks, are, well, they have glove blocks and we don't have a glove. I think that's the main issue there.
Now I'm going to ask you a question, just in case. Could the glove be in a potentially gloved blocked palace?
Yes, it can be in palaces 2, 3, or 6 because it's not guaranteed that the path to the item room requires the glove to get to. So the glove very, very much at large in this seed. Could be absolutely anywhere. This is going to be a mad dash scavenger hunt to see who can find that glove first.
Well, that may be what this ends up turning into. Uh, at least trailZ has the information on Barba. So Barba being our Palace 6 uh, enemy, BuzzThunder finding a seventh magic container.
Indeed, he does. Well, to be fair, or to be fair, we know for sure that the glove is not in Palace 4 or 6 because we know that K Rock was chilling with the trophy and Barba is just hanging out and having a lot of hearts.
All right, so that kind of narrows down the search a little bit at that point. So, are we looking for palaces at this point? Are there other caves kind of out and about that the runners could get into? Or do we need the boots to then potentially unlock something else?
Well, based on what I've seen so far between both runners, Spectacle Rock certainly is still at large. But we know that the boots are on Maze Island, and there is, of course, that ocean tile, and we haven't seen too much of the eastern side yet, so boots might be required to access a couple other locations there as well. So if I'm these runners, I'm thinking maybe finding Maze Island is the key to start to be able to check more locations where that glove could be.
Well, it looks like the River Devil is actually blocking progress in the East Coast. Buzz Thunder, if he continues upward along this path, will find him. Uh, I'm not sure if we're going to have to dive a Western Continent Palace to get the boots to be able to explore a little more.
Well, it's hard to say if it's in the palace on Maze
Or
Island or in one of the.
excuse me,
We
I would
just know
say to
they're
get the flute to get the boots out of Maze Island. I words that rhyme and my little pea brain getting confused because I'm trying to speak and think of what I want to say next. Whoops.
Words are all subjective anyway. I think we were better off in the Stone Age when we just kind of grunted at each other and like threw rocks around all day.
Ah, that may be true.
Well, Buzz has made his way to Spell Town and has picked up the cross and is now going to get Reflect. Over on trailZ's side, we have Jump from cashing in that medicine.
Trail's still lacking the life spell, I believe. So, interesting. We'll see what ends up developing out of that. Life spell definitely, apologies for the pun, but a quality of life spell is you get yourself into a little bit of trouble, it will help you out.
And while trailZ does not know Bagoo, he is a fairy. But it doesn't look like the other side is going to lead us anywhere new. Yeah, there's Great Palace on trailZ's side, so we've at least seen this area of the map on Buzz's side before.
Yeah, it's kind of surprised Trails decided not to just jump right in like BuzzThunder did. Uh, we'll see what happens. Trails, well, heading back up there. He's got a couple options still, but I would think not too interested in going into the Great Palace lacking the glove.
Yeah, not seemingly interested in taking any chances on that here. Well, there's a nice 500 pointer for Buzz. That'll get him up to 434. And trailZ inside the vanilla point bag cave. If memory serves, I believe that this was just a 50 pointer. Yes, it was.
Yeah, they just kind of went, we'll just randomly chop off one of the zeros and leave it at 50 points, unfortunately. So, not quite the best item for Trails to find. At this point, I think we may have to go into that palace on the top left of the map, the one that was not Great Palace.
You
And
mean the as to here for Palace 3 or 6? Yeah,
yes,
could very well be. We're starting to run out of options between both players, unless you want to take a deep dive into Death Mountain and hunt down Spectacle Rock.
well, I think I would like to take the risk that this is Palace 3 and going to give me an unknown item, because if I realize it's Palace 6 and it's just a heart, I think I'm out.
Well, in this case, it definitely is Palace 3. So probably worth at least having a look to see if you can get to the item, but chances of it being glove blocked are fairly high. So we'll see what trailZ is able to manage here. But yes, you are absolutely right. If it was Palace 6, you wouldn't want anything to do with that because you know all that's there is a heart container. And well, as you can see, we started with 5, now sitting at 6. For 2 players of this skill level, that really should be plenty.
Well, and Life 5 on top of that, I think Trails is just about at that point where the levels are not going to be all that important at this point going forward. Maybe an attack 5 level, but aside from that, I don't see much more coming of it.
No, but it looks like trailZ has found the item room in Palace 3, and we've just confirmed that jump is linked to fire. And it's the flute.
Oh, wow. So we find the flute. So now we can dispose of the River Devil. That may open up Maze Island or potentially access to Maze Island. It certainly will open up most of the Western continent. If we can get to Maze Island, that gives us the boots. Getting the boots may then open up something else. So it looks like our fetch quests getting a little ugly at this point.
Yeah, looks like we've got quite a lot of work to do. Buzz has tried two different pass-through caves on the east now, and neither of them getting out of this early, looks like a very much claustrophobic area on the east. Not too many different areas you can go to so far. River Devil looming large on this one, it seems.
Yeah, BuzzThunder about to learn what trailz learned not too long ago about the Eastern continent is that you're kind of stuck in this particular area. You will need the boots to get through, which we know are on Maze Island. But to get the boots, we need the flute, and trailz making the right play, going to Palace 3.
Yep, that flute looks like it's going to be quite important. We've got a river block on the southern part of that swamp, as we're seeing on Buzz's side here right now. So I'm pretty sure that Buzz has tried every conceivable pass-through cave here. So looks like flute might be required on this seed to at least unlock some other locations.
Because there's just nowhere else Buzz Thunder is going to be able to go. And I think trailz kind of figuring it out that his destination is now going to be the wrap spot after up and Aing back to the Northern Palace. I think Buzz Thunder may realize that he's got to go back to the Western continent as well. And there he goes. Probably going to have to dig an item out of a palace. And the only palace I believe that has an item for him to dig out will be Palace 3.
There's still Palace 2 for Buzz. He hasn't found the P bag in there like trailz did. And still, both players, I don't believe, have seen Spectacle Rock, but there is trailz using that flute to get past the River Devil, so we're going to see more of the eastern side here.
Well, I guess for Buzz Thunder, he's starting to potentially fall behind here. It looks like, well, from what we know on trailz side of things, he will need to go into Palace 3 to open up the Eastern continent. Trailz finding Old Kasuto and getting on out of there. Nothing to do there. He already has the spell.
Absolutely, but what is interesting right now is you see Buzz going in and out of every cave in sight. I'm wondering if Buzz is going to commit to Death Mountain and try to find Spectacle Rock. The glove could still be there. But
The,
nope, Buzz is going to head into Palace 2 and search for the item in here. We know, unfortunately, it's not going to be anything he'll be too happy to find. But when your options are limited, I guess you start with the nearest one, basically.
yeah, at this point, Buzz Thunder knows that he has three options: Palace 2, Palace 3, and Spectacle Rock. Unfortunately for Buzz Thunder, we know that Palace 2 is only going to yield him a P bag.
And it looks like we have an even more obnoxious Eastern Hyrule. After going through the River Devil, it looks like you have to walk through a long corridor of sand to get to yet another part of the continent here. trailz
Uh,
going to use some fairy feet and skip past that first one, but there's another one. Another try at fairy feet, and it's good.
well, hopefully there's not a third go around. It looks like I saw a three-eyed rock for what little that's going to matter. Uh, trailz, yeah, three-eyed rock, probably not going to go in there, but
Well,
we
I
already
think you at least have to do due diligence and see what palace it is. If it's not 4 or 6, the glove could be there, and it is in fact 5. trailz saying, maybe not just yet.
Yeah, I think going into 5 for any particular item is not high on anybody's list of things to do. Uh, we'll see what ends up coming of it, but it would definitely be an interesting swerve if it were Palace 5 or potentially Spectacle Rock that ends up having the glove.
Well, Buzz finding the glove blocked room in 2, we know that that's just going to lead to one of the 2 dead end rooms that normally has a key. And there's Palace 6 on trailZ's side. He's already been through 3, so he knows that, yeah, there's no point going in there whatsoever.
Well, he could want another heart, but as we previously speculated, I don't think that's exactly high on his list of things to do either.
No, definitely not. Reflect Town for trailZ now, so another chance to potentially pick up that Thunder spell with the kid in tow. And you have to think that trailZ is probably going to err on the side of caution and pick up the upstab, just in case that could be required as well. There's the disappointing P bag for Buzz. He's not even going to pick it up. He's like, all right, good, whatever. Palace 2, it's been fun. See ya. I'm off to Death Mountain.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised at the Death Mountain play, but Trails getting trolled by the Swordmaster. Yeah, you wasted your time, big boy. I guess he knows something that we don't, and maybe that means upstab not required in Great Palace.
Entirely possible. I'm not sure if the joke, quote unquote, hints have anything to do with that. But look at
Oh,
that. Buzz
oh,
picks
wow.
the correct cave because we're at Spectacle Rock already. Just a magic container. No. So flute definitely required to progress in this seed because the glove is not anywhere in the west. There is Thunder for trailZ inside of Reflect Town from cashing in that kid.
All right, so the pieces of the puzzle starting to come together for Trails, and it looks like Buzz Thunder starting to finish all the corner pieces and starting to work on the inside, realizing that he does have to go to Palace 3. It's his only option at this point.
Yep, exactly. Buzz is going to head to cash in the medicine right now. We know that that's just the jump spell. A little disappointing since it's not quote unquote required, but you have to get it anyway. Well, we've found one item on Maze Island for trails. It was just a point bag, so the other drop should be the boots, one would think at least.
Yeah, if it's in Maze Island, then it would definitely have to be the boots, and we'll see what palace we have here. Oh, it's 4.
It's Palace 4, so no interest in that whatsoever at this point. So the boots are somewhere on Maze Island, and by process of elimination, there's a very good chance that the glove is going to be on Ocean Tile once you pick up those boots.
It very well could be. We'll see. At this point, uh, yeah, we know what item Karok has, and I don't think it's anything too appealing for Trails. It'll just give him another spell, which could only lead to fire
Well, fire wouldn't
spell
be any use
itself.
because that's linked to jump. If it's linked to spell, however, that could be the ultimate obnoxiousness because if you need spell to get the glove inside that hidden item or hidden tower at the end of the town, well, that's quite the fetch quest to get everything you need to finish this one, folks.
Well, everything so far has been a fetch quest. It's Palace 3 to get the flute, to end up in Maze Island to get the boots, and everything has been basically required at this point so far. So there's no way to get around what Trails has done and Buzz Thunder is about to do to progress further in the seed. It looks like
And
item
one
number
important
2.
thing that I want to bring up here is that while it certainly looks like Buzz Thunder is behind as trailZ picks up his boots, do remember that Buzz Thunder did have a look inside Great Palace. While it ultimately didn't lead to any progress, assuming Buzz's memory is good, he should at least still remember some areas that he has checked out and have a slight lead on exploration once he gets into there. And looks like trailZ is thinking perhaps of that doomsday scenario that we brought up, where the trophy leads to spell, which leads to the glove. trailZ is going into 4 to dig out that trophy. Meanwhile, on Buzz's side, we've got him in 3, so he's going to find that flute pretty quickly here. Still
Now,
anyone's game.
I'm not entirely sure trailz saw the hint. I know he saw the one for Karok. So that
He saw the one for Barba. Yes, that's right, Frico. It was Buzz that knows for sure that the trophy is inside Palace 4. Thank you for clarifying that. So I suppose trailZ doesn't know that the glove isn't here, but it could still be mandatory yet.
Well, it'll be interesting because, we'll see what the trophy may end up leading to. Uh, all of the spots that we've removed as possibilities, makes, every remaining possibility that more likely. So it could be the spell tower, like you're saying. So we may need to find the spell, uh, essentially giving us a secondary required spell to find, instead of normally, reflect and or thunder to make sure we can progress through the game.
Quite right, you are, Frico. Well, trailZ is going to pick up that trophy because this is the item room inside of number 4. So we've seen every location except for the following: the ocean tile, Palace 1's item, and the item inside of Spell Tower. So only 3 remaining locations between both players for where that clearly mandatory glove is going to be.
So that means trail's likely to go into Valley of Death, and it looks like he's just found it. So we may end up removing the potential of having to look into the spell tower. Trail's going into, at least going into the Valley of Death, which should lead him to Palace 1.
Yep, by process of elimination, it is in fact Palace 1. But
And he's out of
trailZ's going to
there.
turn around after taking a little lava bath there. Perhaps he took my advice that fire is nature's cleanser too much to heart.
Ay, ay, ay. So far we've had a required flute in Palace 3 to bypass a river devil actually doing its job. Uh, trailz looks to be a little more interested in trying to go into the Valley of Death. He's gonna probably have to take a lava bath here, or try to
Doesn't
encounter skip.
have to. Is going to try the encounter skip. Maybe a few too many more invisible than you'd like. Was a little close on that spider, but does get through. So trailZ inside Palace 1 now. So one of the 3 remaining question marks for glove location, and before too long we should see what it is. But Palace 1 opening into a down and right room. So no opportunity to go left for now, which you must go in order to find the item in this palace.
Well, now I think we're looking for an elevator. Finds it, so hopefully that'll lead him to the left, which it does.
It does indeed, and BuzzThunder has quickly figured out that you need to go through the sand corridor as well. Of interest, it looks like. Actually, he may have missed a little bit on the western coast here because it looks like he's doubling back to have a quick peek over this way as well.
Well, all he's going to find is, if he hasn't already, Old Kasuto, which is of zero interest to either of our runners. They already have the spell, and there's nothing else that they will get in being an Old Kasuto.
This is quite interesting. Buzz is going to take the pass-through cave over here and see if this ends up being a shortcut to the other side of the sand corridor.
Oh, interesting play by BuzzThunder, and it looks like it
Yeah, it
actually.
absolutely worked out because there's
Oh,
Palace
yeah.
6.
Yeah, so he's not too far away from Maze Island, although he's walking the other way. If he were to go to the right, I believe he would find the access point for Maze Island.
Yeah, it is just slightly to the north of where he is right now. The boots are not confirmed required as of yet, though, but it is looking likelier and likelier by the minute.
Well, the boots leading to uh, the water tile being the real outlier here for a potential glove location.
Well,
Uh,
we've got trails in the item room for one. It's
Ooh, that's a
just a
negative.
pea bag, so no, the glove is not in one. It is either on the ocean tile or buried behind the tower in Spelltown.
So the whole trip to Maze Island may have been a bust at this point for trails. The boots, a 50-50 shot of the
Well,
boot.
whichever item it is from, one of them is definitely required. It's either the boots to access Ocean Tile or it's the trophy inside Palace 4 to unlock Spell inside Trophy Town to go back to Spell Town to use the spell to get into the tower to find the glove. All that, of
Pal-
course, after going into Palace 3 to find the flute.
Wait a second. What do we know about Palace 5 aside from it being like a vast wasteland of did we get a
Truthfully,
hint for Guma?
truthfully, we know absolutely nothing. I think we all just mentally wrote it off because we were thinking how funny it would be for the glove to be in there. So you know what? All bets are off. Glove in 5. Glove in 5. Glove in 5.
Yeah. I am behind that chant. I'm all for it. Um so it was actually chat that brought it up. I'm like, wait a second. Yeah, I think we all just kind of mentally wrote off the fact that Palace 5 exists.
I think
But
we've all been traumatized enough by Palace 5 that that is a very excusable Pavlovian response to seeing it.
that is a very fair point. So we are still at three possible locations then. With Palace 1 out of the way, we are reminded that Palace 5 does exist. Uh, so we have Palace 5, we have the water tile, and we have the spell tower cave as possibilities for where the glove could be. And Buzz Thunder is into Maze
Over on
Island.
Maze Island, yep. Gonna find that first item. We know this one's just a points bag. Nothing important at the end of this long tunnel.
Uh-oh.
Who picked these flags indeed, old man? And no, unfortunately, trophy is not required to get spell. But now I think
I
we're all
thought that
sincerely hoping that the spell tower does not have the glove.
trailz had the spell in that fifth spot.
Yep, picked it up inside of Firetown just now.
Okay. So the trophy's out, so that means yeah, Maze Island's a complete bust at this point, unless it's the boots that lead you to the water tile. Palace 4 in and of itself of no value as trailz uh, has just shown us.
Well, we're going to see what's on that water tile now. I think all of us are hoping it's not the glove, and it's not. It's a heart container.
Oh my. So Palace 5 is right there for trailz, and it actually looks like he's moving down to go in to dive Palace 5.
Well, it's either Palace 5 or Spell Tower at this point.
Oh boy. Oh no. Ah.
Well, there's the boots for Buzz. One advantage Buzz has is that he knows that that trophy is inside Palace 4. I don't think we're going to see him waste any time trying to dig that item out just yet.
Well, we'll see. Nope. he's just going right by. So deciding that he does not need it. Trail's finding a glove block in Palace 5, so we'll see if that ends up pointing him in potentially the right direction. BuzzThunder, uh, to get ahead at this point, would need to cash in for the spell and use it to hopefully find the glove in the spell tower. Otherwise, he'll just be behind trailZ at this point because trailZ is already into Palace 5 trying to dig the item out.
Indeed, he is. And one small correction for you, Frico. There are no glove blocks inside Palace 5. What you saw was just a dead end that can potentially lead to either a P bag or a key.
Ah, okay. I keep
That's
seeing
okay.
that.
We all still love you in all your freaky glory.
Ah, it's that one little thing that always messes me up because there's those 3 blocks that are on the left side of that elevator room, and I keep thinking it's a glove block. Right
It
there.
certainly looks that way, but there's nothing over there but P bags and vanilla, and in the randomizer, a chance for a key. But we know we have zero interest in keys since we started with the best key.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Buzz has just picked up the spell. So, based on
Ooh.
what we've seen from Buzz, for Buzz, Palace 1 is still on the table. Otherwise, he's seen pretty much everything except for Ocean Tile, Palace 5, and Spell Tower.
As for trailZ, he's not been into Spectacle Rock, so he may end up back there before trying to check the spell tower. So we do have our runners both in separate locations. As commentators and observers, we get the advantage of seeing what both of the runners see, although that knowledge doesn't necessarily translate from one runner to the next, as they only know what they know.
Exactly. And in this case, while trailZ has picked up much more items much quicker than Buzz, Buzz got a couple of key hints and already has a head start on Great Palace. So Buzz certainly has the knowledge advantage on this one. Perhaps not the exploration advantage, though. It's too close to call right now.
Oh,
And Buzz is going to
absolutely.
head into Valley of Death. Buzz is going to find Palace 1 and be summarily disappointed. Good
Yeah, this
lord.
is
This is
unfortunate for
amazing to
BuzzThunder.
watch.
Yeah, unfortunately for BuzzThunder, we know what's in Palace One, and it's definitely not the glove. So BuzzThunder now on about, let's see, was in at about 15 and a half minutes. So over a half an hour now, simply looking for the glove for BuzzThunder, and it's yielded him just about everything else in the game aside from the glove.
One thing I'm wondering over on trailZ' side, if the glove doesn't end up being in 5 when he finds that item room, does he just decide to go for broke and actually take a peek at Great Palace? Because he hasn't been in there yet. But then again, I think meta might come into play a bit at this point. You're 52 minutes in on a 0 gem seed and you haven't seen the other player dot done. I think you're pretty much assuming that glove is definitely required at this point.
I feel a very similar vibe. Uh, I'm kind of going, okay, this could have been like a 10-minute seed. And with the way trailZ was exploring early on, it's like, oh, you're going to get caught out somewhere. BuzzThunder into Great Palace 15 minutes in could pull off the upset of sorts, and we get a quick dark link. And next thing you know, we're going for the finals run back whenever they so choose to end up doing it. If BuzzThunder does win this game, we will have another game to decide once and for all who is the winner. trailZ having the winner's bracket advantage of needing to lose twice before being eliminated from the tournament in second place.
Oh, and how glorious will it be if we get that winner takes all do or die final race? It might even be better than Game 7 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. I miss hockey.
As do I.
Well, we've got Buzz Thunder in the item room for one, and yep, he'll be taking an up and A very shortly. There it is. Not even touching that pea bag.
Yeah, that's two 500-point P bags that Buzz Thunder is just kind of waltzed away from, but Trail's making his way still through Palace 5. Uh, oh boy.
Palace 5 absolutely labyrinthian on this season.
Oh, it looks like Buzz Thunder going into Palace 4. So unfortunately, Buzz Thunder either forgetting or potentially thinking that he needs the trophy for something.
Well, he already has the spell, so at this point I can only assume that he forgot the hint that he got, and to be fair, he did get that hint quite a long time ago.
Yeah, we're looking at about 45 minutes plus for Buzz Thunder picking up that hint. It was before he was in Great Palace, I believe, when he got the hint. So you never know. We'll see. Buzz Thunder probably going to be disappointed in the fact that the trophy is in Palace 4. He may kind of kick himself afterward, realizing that he got the hint for it.
I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Well, we don't have a webcam up, so we can't see a reaction, but we can certainly ask him about it after the fact, assuming we get an interview with our runners. We've finally found the item room in Palace 5 on trailZ's side. What is it going to be? It's a pea bag! Glove still at large. Glove still at large. It is inside the spell tower.
Yeah, unless we somehow missed another item spot, Buzz Thunder actually noped out of Palace 4. I think he remembered. Wait a second. No, he did pick up the trophy.
Yeah, he
So,
saw the trophy. So, bit of a time waster for Buzz, unfortunately. trailZ, I believe, should know for sure that it's inside Spell Tower at this point. Buzz Thunder
no, no, no,
still
no,
has
no.
Palace
Spectacle
5
Rock
at
is still on the
large, I
table.
believe. And that's it.
Trails has Spectacle Rock and Spell Tower on the table. Although I would presume, since he's going into New Kasuto, he's going to check the Spell Tower and be
And
pleasantly
the glove is
surprised.
going to be inside Spell Tower. Looks like Buzz might be thinking the same thing here, perhaps just trying to remember where New Kasuto was, because he headed right back over to the east.
So at
This
this
could still
point,
be a very, very close race yet. Buzz is inside New Kasuto. Oh my lord, we're about 15 seconds apart, nearly an hour into this race after a mad worldwide search for the glove. They're both going to find it here. So Buzz a little behind here, but he has at least seen a little bit of Great Palace. If he can use that to his advantage, he might be able to pull even with and surpass trailZ here. This is going to be a
oh,
fantastic finish.
wow. Yeah, both of our runners now have the glove, and it's going to be on trails to remember where's Great Palace again. Uh, uh, Buzz Thunder up and Aing out, so it's the race to Great Palace for both of our runners.
It absolutely is, Frico. If this is the final match of this tournament, this has certainly lived up to the hype. This has been absolutely fantastic so far. We're almost at a dead heat going into the penultimate 11th hour shenanigans. trailZ is the first into Great Palace. With the glove, I should say.
Yeah, I was going to say Buzz Thunder was in there before. We did notate it, but it looks like Buzz Thunder pulling in for a bit of a pit stop. He might be looking to get upstep. It looks like
No, Buzz is going to use ferry to get over the bridge
for the pass
because based
through.
on what
Okay.
he's seen, this is, as far as he knows, the quickest way to get over to Great Palace. But Buzz
Ah,
perhaps not taking those boots into account as trailZ did to get up to the northern half of Western Hyrule just a little bit quicker. To Buzz's advantage, though, the outside of this town is right next to Great Palace. There it is on his screen right now, taking a little hesitation to avoid the randoms. So he's back inside Great Palace. A couple of rooms behind trailZ, assuming they go the same way. trailZ finds the Eon drop and is going to head to the right first.
well, you gotta head to the right to find either Thunderbird or Dark Link. So I think Trail's taking the risk of, well, I'll go right and finding a Thunderbird.
Well, we've found Thunderbird over to the right.
Buzz Thunder does have the advantage of knowing two glove blocks exist, but this chicken and waffles room was unfortunately one of them. So it looks like Buzz Thunder may end up in the same area as Trails. Looking
Yep,
at
heading
a
in the same direction thus far, at the very least. Trails in a battle against Thunderbird. Buzz Thunder is over the room with the Eon drop. Electing not to take it, he'll have a long hallway which one could potentially fall into later on. Would hate to see that. That would take you back progression wise. But right after this, Buzz Thunder is going to be into Thunderbird's room. As trailZ finishes Thunderbird off and heads to the right, let's see what lies ahead.
You'd like to hope it's a Dark Link, but unfortunately for Trails, not quite.
And trailZ out of magic, going to have to be a little creative here. Gets the red jar drop first try mercifully, so he's able to cast Fairy to get over this room.
Yeah, that
Buzz
was
Thunder,
a
meanwhile,
fortunate.
starting to pick away at Thunderbird. 2 health bars gone, landing some nice double hits here. Should only be a few more passes of that pendulum before Buzz takes Thunderbird out here. Really good fight so far. A drop after Thunderbird for
Uh
trailZ.
oh.
Where does it lead? Oh, it leads to a room where you can only go right. This is certainly a good thing to see when we have seen a couple of dead end. No, it's another drop. This is a disaster, I think now. Uh-oh.
Oh, this means that Thunderbird fight might not have been required, especially when you see the drops after the Thunderbird going to the top of the L7 room,
Well, we at least
which,
haven't seen the top of the L7's room yet on Buzz's side. It's still possible this could be the right way. Couple of ways to go here. You have to think trailZ is going to go up and hope for a paperclip room. It is a paperclip room.
yes, chat actually saying to go back and take the Eon drop. Uh, that may well be a possibility, taking the drop before the Thunderbird. Both of our runners clearing Thunderbird and proceeding on. So we'll see what ends up of the exploration at this point. Trails.
Oh no, I think trailZ
Oh.
found a loop there. Yes,
No,
he
he's out
did.
of it.
We've
Oh,
seen
he
that
did. Oh
blue
no.
polka on Buzz Thunder's side before. So back to the start for trailZ. You're going to have to go over to the L7's drop and take that down. Maybe an advantage for Buzz if he can pick up on that fact quick enough because he at least knows how to get there because that is going to be the correct path.
What about the Eon drop? Because that was before Thunderbird.
I suppose it could be the Eon drop.
I'm just kind of throwing things out there because we did forget about Palace 5 before. So, in the interest of due diligence, just make sure all the options are on the table, as it were. So it looks like Trail's going through a waffle room, gonna find himself a angry chicken at the end of it.
Yeah, trailZ is heading back to the Eon drop. Buzz Thunder, however, looks like he's taking the path over to the L7's drop. This is going to be a matter of which of the two drops is the correct path. That's what this race is going to come down to, it looks like.
Well, we get to see the life spell, and it looks like 2 blocks of life being restored, possibly 3. And it looks like BuzzThunder found himself into the loop, as it were. Oh, he's in the L7, so he's going to drop down the L7. I think trail's going to take the Eon drop, so we'll see which one is the right drop. Oh, it doesn't look like the L7. I think we saw this room before. Isn't this the room right? Oh, that's not the room right before. Oh, it is. Buzz Thunder taking the L7, which led him to the room right before Thunderbird, which now leads him to the Eon drop. Oh, Buzz Thunder finds Dark Link.
Oh my goodness, what a race. It looks like Buzz is going to take this one.
Oh, wow. This is an amazing turn of events. Buzz Thunder taking the L7, which ended up putting him in the room right before Thunderbird, which was right after the Eon drop. Buzz Thunder, knowing where he was, takes the Eon drop and finds his way to Dark Link and resetting the bracket, taking trailz into the loser's side with him. Buzz Thunder
We are
winning this.
going to have a do or die final match in this tournament between trailZ and BuzzThunder. Congratulations, Buzz, on winning what was probably the most entertaining race of the tournament thus far.
Wow. And for the official record, Buzz Thunder finishing in first place with a time of 1 hour, 5 minutes, 22 seconds. What a race. And with Buzz Thunder winning this one, it guarantees one more, the do or die race between trailz and Buzz Thunder. trailz in the winners final, winning that race. Buzz Thunder getting the run back and winning the grand finals reset race. So we've got one more ahead of us. trailz versus Buzz Thunder, round 3, winner take all.
And I hope our restreamer's on top of things here because Buzz is doing his usual celebration, and we probably don't want to get any copyright claims here. Well, trailZ's going to take another stab at this. Has seen quite a lot of GP now. Highly doubt that trailZ is going to end up finding the other side of the L7's drop. You kind of have to think that at this point, trailZ's just going to try the Eon drop and see if that does the trick here.
Well, as we know, it will. If trailz does find the bottom part of the L7 drop like Buzz Thunder did, that will end up dumping him in the room right before Thunderbird. So trailz just going to skip all of that, go back into the Eon drop room, take the Eon drop, and realize Thunderbird was not required.
Yeah, and here it is, Dark Link for trailZ.
And here I am on.
And there it is. trailZ is officially done with an official legitimate SRL time of 1 hour, 8 minutes, and 37 seconds.
and here I am. I'm clicking the arrow to play the Yub Nub over again on BuzzThunder's screen. All right, and it looks like we are joined by BuzzThunder.
Hello.
So, how about that glove?
It was a good glove. I mean, I don't know. This whole seed was pretty awesome, to be honest.
I have to say, Buzz, we loved watching every moment of this. This was just a fantastic race on both sides there. I think between the two of you, yes, we did see every single item location. Glove turned out to be inside Spell Tower, and by the time you both figured that out through the various breadcrumbs the game left you, you were about 10 seconds apart at that point. Buzz, congratulations on winning and extending your tournament life. We're going to have a do or die final game between you and trailZ at some point in the near future. How you feeling about that?
Yeah, I feel good, man. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't think I'd have. I didn't think I could beat Rose City Saint and then trailZ, on 2 times to get there. But even, each of those steps, I'm kind of surprised, but it's awesome. I'm happy.
So, Buzz, one thing that I think helped you quite a bit was your early dive into Great Palace, where you found out that you were glove blocked pretty quickly. After you defeated Thunderbird, and obviously Thunderbird wasn't required, when you realized that you were in a loop, it looked like you headed directly to the Link 7's drop. And I'm wondering, is that because you knew that even if it didn't take you on the path to Dark Link, it would drop you into the room right next to the Eon drop, which would therefore have to be the correct way to go?
Yeah, it seemed like from the map I had, I didn't even consider upping and going back to the Eon drop because I had it mapped out to the other one, and maybe I was just taking the long shot. But yeah, I did know. I was like, it's like, yeah, it's either this is going to take me to Dark Link or it'll take me right back next to the correct drop to go to Dark Link. So yeah, I mean, I mapped out the entire GP, saw every room.
Yeah, and I am of the opinion that that's definitely what allowed you to pull ahead of trailZ. trailZ, despite the fact that you both found the glove about 15 seconds apart, made it to Great Palace much quicker than you. trailZ was taking advantage of the boots that you found, whereas you went through Lifetown again.
That's right. Yeah, I didn't even consider that, just because I'd already done it twice to get there, so I just kept taking that same path. I didn't think that I could walk around faster.
Yeah, and but even though you were about a minute behind after you both defeated Thunderbird, I think just your knowledge from having dived Great Palace early certainly panned out in your favor there. I believe we're joined by trailZ as well. Is that correct?
Hey, what's up, guys? GG Buzz.
Yeah, good game.
So when
did you dig out Palace 5 also?
No, I never saw Palace 5. I don't know where Palace 5 or the water tile were.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't see them.
And that was what I was going to ask about. trailZ, you had the glove narrowed down to just a few locations, but you opted to go have a look inside Palace 5 before even checking the water tile. What was running through your mind at that point?
I just didn't have to go back there. I forgot the water tile was right above.
But that had to have been a one-way cave to get to that area. Is that right?
Yeah, you needed the flute, wasn't it? You needed the flute, and then you walked around. Did you not get the...
Okay, so you had to take the desert path to get to 5 in the water tile?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
What else was on...
I never took that desert path. I took a pass-through cave, so I ended up skipping that desert area.
I think you needed the flute to pretty much unlock the entirety of the eastern continent for the most part. You only had that one little bit.
Yeah, that's what made the seed so great, was the fact that you had to get the flute out of 3 to even progress. I mean, that never happened, so that was really cool. Also,
Yeah.
the fact that you could see Maze Island, and I knew that the boots were there, but like Maze Island was boot blocked or flute blocked, even though you had the hint and you knew the boots were in Maze Island. So
I
that's
think if you
fun
went
stuff.
north from the Maze Island, that would put you in the area where the water tile and Palace 5 were. But I, always reserve my right to be wrong. But it
I
was
did,
up above the Maze Island spot. I remember that much.
I did 100% of the seed, except for Spectacle Rock, and that's it. I mean, I got the hint about Barba slithering with the 500-point bag, so I knew about that. But literally every other location, including Palaces 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, I did, and I got Hammer Cave, and I did Maze Island. Full clear the west and the
got
east.
quite a lot of this seed trailZ for sure.
Oh, that actually brings a question to mind. BuzzThunder, did you remember that you got the hint for the trophy?
Yeah, I was just caught up in everything at that point. I didn't need to go there, so yeah, I wasted a few minutes going back to get the trophy, because as soon as I got it, I was like, wait, I already got Spell. Why am I even going here to get this? It was just a,
Yeah, I get it.
We kind of figured that, but we definitely wanted to ask you anyway.
Yeah, just wanted to ask about it because it was like, wait a second, did I remember it wrong? Was it trailZ that got the memo and, didn't have the spell at that point? And I'm going, all right, rather ask than,
Yeah, just chalk it up to trying to be like, well, I can go here, 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 and here, but I need to go do this first, and then just sometimes you can get ahead of yourself with planning, and then I just kind of forgot that I already had it.
I'm just happy that you finished after I got into GP, because I was just looking at the IRC knowing you were getting ready to finish. It took me forever to get.
Yeah.
It was an amazing race to watch. You were both going off in completely different directions, but then it all came together for both of you right around the same time at the very end. If you both have an hour to spare sometime in the future, I definitely recommend rewatching this one.
Yeah, I'm going to have to scout before the finals.
Yeah, I mean, do you want to go again, or do you want to wait?
Oh, I can't do it right now. No, I gotta wait, like, I don't know, maybe 1-2 weeks just to make you sweat.
Oh,
we'll probably figure it out
salty
on
run back.
That's not a salty run back. It's whatever. I mean, that's how the game rolls sometimes, dude.
Oh, absolutely.
No, we'll figure it out. We'll probably do it sometime in the next few days, but yeah, just not tonight.
Seems good.
All right. Thanks for everything, guys. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the ultimate finals. Wow, this is exciting.
You have no idea.
So good luck.
I think you two are probably the people that are least looking forward to this finals match of anyone. I know I'm certainly with bated breath whenever you guys decide to do it. I will certainly be here, and I'm hoping that tonight's broadcast crew will be around in some capacity as well. Frico, my co-commentator, Shadow Magi on the restream, and good old Jay Coper handling the tracking for this one. Make sure to follow the vast majority of us, and more importantly, follow the two runners from tonight, BuzzThunder and trailZ _. While we still have you in here, any final thoughts on tonight's race, and what do you guys think about playing the do or die at some future point?
I think Buzz bounced out, but I believe trailZ is still here, so...
What was the question? My bad, dude. I wasn't even paying attention.
The question was, are you a human named trailZ?
Yeah, I am a human named trailZ.
Perfect. So I think we're just about done with our broadcast for tonight now.
All right, man. Well, you guys have a good night. Thanks for stepping in so quickly to do commentary and shit. I'll see you guys next
Any final thoughts before I take us out of here?
Let's go, Bruins.
All right, I think with Jacquemus's outburst there, I think he's about ready to, wander off to the hockey arena. So I think that'll do it for us tonight. That was trailZ versus BuzzThunder. What could have been the final match of the night, but BuzzThunder resetting the bracket and taking the win. So we will be looking forward to one more match between trailZ and BuzzThunder in a winner-take-all format. trailZ being sent down to the losers bracket by BuzzThunder. So both with a loss and a win against each other. Game 3, which will be the grand final, coming up soon. And once we get word on when that will be, hopefully we let everybody know.
I mean, all I can say is keep an eye on the schedule. I'm sure Buzz and trailZ will schedule it up, and my assumption will probably be a similar time as this one, but don't. Other than that, we got a couple things. I guess you could call it today if you're pretty much in any time zone but the one I'm in. We have coming up 3 p.m., then 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. a Minish Cap match, and then a couple Link to the Past All Dungeons. Any other things from you, Freaky or Jackson?
I think at this point it's about time to call it a day or call it a night, one of the two.
Sounds good to me. Thanks, everybody, for joining.